let's move on. So we are starting a new topic, that is mergers and acquisition. Mergers and acquisition. In Ghana, you have experienced some mergers and acquisition. And examples of this are Airtel Tigo. Airtel Tigo was a merger because two separate companies came together and they became one. So they are what? It's a merger. EcoBank and the Trust Bank. I think that would be acquisition. I don't know what it is, but since EcoBank's name is the only one that I presume, I start to be corrected, but I presume it's acquisition because EcoBank taking total over that, over Trust Bank. Fidelity and Procredit, that one I'm very sure is acquisition. Fidelity bought Procredit and is operating as Fidelity now. Okay, so Airtel Tigo is merger, EcoBank and the Trust Bank is acquisition, Fidelity and Procredit acquisition. Now, we want to understand merger and acquisition and the difference. Okay, merger and acquisition. Merger is when two separate entity or firms decide to join themselves together to become one in their operations. So it's like they are joining their business. Okay, they are joining their business. Okay. Normally, when they join, mostly they are motivated by what synergy, as in the value of the firm separately. When you add the separate value together, and you compare it to the merged value, the merged value is higher. So that is synergy. Now let's go to acquisition. Acquisition is when a big, financially strong, stable firm decide to acquire small or underperforming firm as DS. So like Fidelity and Procredit. Okay. Then merger is Airtel Tigo. All right. So I hope the difference is clear. Now, the market for corporate control. The market for corporate control. This was introduced by H. Jane Mann, and it's talking about the role that equity play in facilitating corporate takeovers. In facilitating corporate takeover. Now, what is happening is that when you are a firm, you realize that there's a particular firm that is underperforming. Their share value is low because they are not operating efficiently. You realize that if you acquire this firm and you operate efficiently, the value will rise. It will become better. The value will be better, and you are going to gain. Then you'll be motivated to what? Go and acquire the firm. Okay. So when a firm is performing poorly to the extent that their share value is undervalued or is lower than what it should be, it should have been if it was operating efficiently, many strong firms will be eyeing that company. They want to buy it. They want to acquire it, or probably they want to merge. Let's talk of board of directors. Board of directors is important here because they are elected by shareholders to head or to lead the firm. They are the managerial aspect of the firm. They occupy, they are elected to oversee the running of the firm. So that's what they do. Board of directors. I would use a particular word, but it's like it's not coming. Okay, so they are the governing board. Yes, they are the governing board of a firm. And every firm has a governing board. and which are elected by shareholders. Now I want to talk about their roles. They represent the interests of shareholders. Now they are elected by shareholders. They are appointed by shareholders. And therefore, if you don't do what will please the shareholder, you are going to be sacked. What is the interest of shareholders? Shareholders are interested in maximizing their share value. Okay, so they have to do everything within their capacity to make sure the value of the share is being maximized. Okay, the next one is they monitor the performance. That is the role, their responsibility, the role they perform. They monitor the financial performance of the firm. So they have regular meetings where they take the financial statement of the firm and they go through. The financial statement is presented to them. The finance officer would have to present their financial statement to them for them to see the performance of the firm financially. Then, so they monitor it. They hire and fire. Those are top management, like finance, the chief finance officer. They hire them. So they hire people in high positions and they can fire you. Compensation. They decide the compensation, the remuneration, the allowances, and everything of those occupying high positions, of those that they hire and they occupy strategic position in the firm. Setting the overall direction and strategy of the company. So the governing body are supposed to come out with where the firm is going, what the firm should do to get there. So that is their responsibility. They ensure compliance with legal and ethical standards. So the governing board is always supposed to make sure that the firm in all their dealings is complying with legal requirements and ethical standards. So these are some of their responsibilities. Okay. Rationale for mergers. Reason why firms merge. First one is synergy. Synergy. Synergy is where, if we have firm A and firm B, synergy is where after merger, the value of A and B is greater than adding the value of firm A and B when they were separate firms. Okay, so synergy, that's mostly the major reason firms merge. Tax consideration. Now, there are some firms that enjoy tax holidays. There are some businesses that enjoy tax holidays. So probably the firm not to reduce its tax. There are some firms that are not paying tax because of probably the role they are playing in a country or something, or they pay lesser tax. A firm can acquire them or merge with them so that their tax will be reduced. The tax that they pay will be reduced. Okay. And then also, sometimes when a firm when shareholders come there, they say they want to postpone payment of tax on dividends now. So the firm can use the profit they've acquired to go into a business like acquiring another firm, so that they wouldn't pay any tax on dividend. Okay, so that is another reason. Diversification. So this company is into cassava production. They can now go and acquire a firm that is into oil production. They have diversified. Economies of scale. Now, when there is this normal common ideology that when you produce in lesser quantity, you spend more than when you produce in large quantity, but the per unit cost will be what? Lesser. So if they acquire another firm and they become bigger, they will produce in large quantity and the per unit cost will be what? Lesser. Okay. Then purchasing asset below their replacement cost. Purchasing asset below their replacement cost. Now, probably in the firm, they are acquiring the firm. The price that they are paying for the firm is much lower than replacement cost. Okay, let's say the firm has an asset. They want to sell. Now, sorry, when a firm has an asset or have their company, they realize that for them to fix the company back, for it to operate well, right? Please listen, this is the meaning. The first meaning was not clear. If they realize that, okay, I have company A, for me to put the company in good shape for it to operate, I'm going to what? Spend more than what? If I what? Sell it. Okay, then the firm will be willing to what? Sell it to another firm, then it will be what? The next one is managed personal incentive. This one is when we are talking of conflict of interest, where the management is considering their interest over shareholders' what? Interest. Now, sometimes there are people who want to buy additional firms. They want to merge. They want to acquire firm, not because it's good for the firm or not necessarily because they want to maximize the wealth of shareholders, but for them to gain power, because when they have a bigger firm, they gain power. They will have bigger control. Their allowances will be increased because their responsibility have what? Increase. So they will push forward a merger or what? Acquisition. Okay. All right. Bootstrapping. Bootstrapping. Bootstrapping is a situation where a merger does not come with economic benefit. That is, it does not have any synergy. But then they are able to what? The earning per share increases. The earning per share increases over time. Okay. So that is bootstrapping game. Now, other things that we should note. Remember, a well-designed merger can offer operational synergy, competitive edge, cost saving. So this one will be advantages of what? Merger. So it can give you operational synergy. It can give you competitive edge. If your firm is big, you are likely to be more competitive than what? The smaller firms. Cost saving. Please, who is? Okay, so cost saving. So those will be the advantages of what? Merger or acquisition. Okay. Let's go to the last one. But we are going to do calculation the next day. Oh. Okay. Types of merger. We have horizontal merger. Horizontal merger. When we talk of horizontal merger, we are talking of when a firm merges with a firm who has the same production, as they produce the same goods. Okay, they produce the same goods, or they are into the same service, or they render the same operation, or they render the same what? Products. So that is horizontal merger. So if I produce kinky, firm A produce kinky and firm B produce what? Kinky, and they merge, then it's horizontal what? Merger. Then we have vertical merger. Vertical merger is where a firm merges with its suppliers or consumers. Okay, its suppliers or consumers. So probably you produce book. We have a firm that also produce paper. You acquire the paper and produce your books. Now you can acquire that firm so that it become part of the firm. So with that, we have vertical merger. Then we have cogeneric merger. Cogeneric merger. That's merger, they are a merger of firms in the same industry. So like Zenith Bank and probably Fidelity coming together. That is cogeneric merger. They are in the same industry, okay, but they are not related in any way by supplying or custom, or they are not related in that way, okay. Then we have conglomerate merger. Conglomerate merger. That merger is acquiring a firm that is totally different. It's not in your industry. It's not, doesn't produce what you produce. Though you are not in the same industry. So, like Coca-Cola company going to acquire the company that produce flour. Okay, so that is conglomerate merger. Hostile versus friendly takeover. Hostile versus friendly takeover. Hostile. When I talk of hostile, is what? Taking something in a bad way or in a way that hurts the other person, okay? So when a firm want to acquire another firm, what they do is they will send a tender offer. They will send a tender offer to what? An offer to the other company, their management, the board of directors. Okay. When they agree, then we say there's what? Friendly takeover. They will agree, then they will meet, discuss the price and what? Sell the other firm. Okay. The acquiring firm will contact the targeting firm. Then the targeting firm, if they are also willing to sell or merge, then they what? They will agree on the price and everything, the share value and the amount they want to pay. Then they what? They sell. They acquire the firm. But hostile takeover, there are instances where the targeting firm, the management are not willing to sell the firm. If that happens, the acquiring firm can tender offer to the shareholders directly. First, they would have done it through the friendly takeover, they would have done it through the management. They will come together and write the offer to the shareholder, agree on it, write the offer to the shareholder. But this time around, the management of the targeting firm are not in agreement. Hence, the acquiring firm will write a tender offer directly to the shareholders so that when the shareholders agree, because the owners are the shareholders, when shareholders agree, they take over the firm, they pay the shareholder what they are supposed to pay, take over the firm. Then we see. Okay. All right. Now, merging process. Merging process, the process that they go through. So first, they establish suitable price or range of price for the firm, for the targeting firm, the firm they want to acquire. So probably they will do valuation of the firm and all that to know the value that they were willing to pay. So when they get a value, the acquiring firm willing to pay exact value or below the value. Okay, and all other factor being held constant. Second one, tentatively set the terms of payment. So they want to decide, are we going to pay with shares? Are we going to pay with bond? Are we going to pay cash? Okay. The next thing is the acquiring firm manager must decide how to approach the targeted company manager. So after they've decided on how they will acquire, they now have to approach the targeted firm's manager. That yes, we want to acquire your firm and all that. Okay. These two groups will meet. The acquiring firm management and the targeting firm, they will meet and they will discuss whatever is going. Then they will make recommendation to what the shareholder. That is if it is what a friendly takeover. That is if it's a friendly takeover. Okay, right. In case there's a fifth point, in case there is no friendly takeover, as in the targeting the in case the targeting firm does not agree, then they can move directly towards the shareholders. That's a wholesale takeover and tender offer to the shareholders. Then if the shareholders are okay with it, they will acquire the firm. Okay. So today we are ending here. Then next week, God willing, we are going to do the calculation. Okay. All right. Thank you. Bye. Any question?
Yes, my dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were talking about YouTube. I don't know much about it.
I was talking about what?
You were talking about we go to the YouTube account and watch some
From the onset, I told you I have a YouTube account. And even the earlier lecture that we couldn't meet,